Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the December meeting of the Kinross Common Good Fund Committee, Thursday, 17th, 2020. Do we have any apologies for this meeting?
Yes, Convener, we have an apology from Councillor Lyle.
Thank you, Kirsten. Any declarations of interest? No?
Yes, sorry, Mike, I couldn't get the chat function up. I have a declaration of interest in item 5, Light Up Kinross as the treasurer. I did declare this on the email chain when those discussions were taking place earlier in the year, but I note that it hasn't been included on the agenda or in the papers, so I would be appreciative if that could be recorded. Thank you, Convener.
Okay, I'm sure that will be done. The next item is the minute of the last meeting, which was the 25th of September 19, for approval. Do we agree that the record of that minute is correct?
Agreed.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Under matters arising, I note from that minute that David Cuthbert was welcomed as the new advisory non-voting member from the Community Council in Kinross, but he is no longer serving on Kinross CC, so we will need to get a new non-voting member. So I wonder if the Secretariat could pen an appropriate letter to Kinross CC to that effect.
Yes, Convener, happy to do that.
Thank you. One also assumes that the letter that was supposed to go to Kinross High School Literacy Department was actually sent. That was under item 4882 in that minute. I assume that letter went.
Yes, I had a phone call with the applicant about their application and what was awarded.
Thanks, Christopher. Item 5 talks about the Light Up Kinross contact. I'm just querying the date there because, to my mind, it seemed more recent than October 19, more likely October 20 that we had a request and discussed it by email, but maybe my memory is failing me. Could that be checked?
We had that application by email because it was in around to Christmas. We wanted to disperse the money before, so they didn't have to wait until December for a decision.
And that was in 2019, was it?
Yes.
How time flies.
I think you're right. I'm sure that there was an email chain just a couple of months ago, and that was October 2020 rather than October 2019.
Could we get that checked out, Chris?
Yeah, I'm happy to do so.
I mean, I think there's only been one request since the last meeting, but the question is whether it was 2019 or 2020.
We had 2 applications in this year, to the best of my knowledge, and both of them had to be cancelled because of coronavirus restrictions or lack of funding for the other one.
Oh, right. Okay. Anyway, just make certain that that's correct for the next meeting.
Okay.
Now, item 6 is applications for financial assistance, page 7 to 10 of the agenda. And you can see the financial position outlined in paragraph 1.3, and then the proposal from Kinross Move Greener. They're looking for a grant towards the cost of their project of £4,820 for a pilot car sharing scheme and also the possibility of a bike sharing scheme. What I would say about this application is that we do have a community transport problem in Kinross Shire, so anything that assists people with transport has to be a good thing. So I would have thought it was the kind of thing we should look favourably on. However, we do have to be mindful of the fact that £157,000 of our total fund is ring-fenced as capital, and unless we were prepared to reduce that, it would be quite difficult to consider this application in full. So I don't know what people think about that, so I open that up to the committee for comment. Willie, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I agree with what you've just said, convener. I think it's. I would be happy about eating into our capital, and but like you, I'm quite keen to support this application, and I would move that we do give them an award, but also direct them to other sources of funding, both locally and perhaps. I don't know if that. Perhaps officers can tell me if there's any fund that the council has that might also be appropriate for this sort of scheme, because it does seem quite.
I have sent them the council's funding alert and directs them to a fund which kind of met these criteria, so I'm not sure if they have applied for that funding. They have been pushed to go elsewhere as well.
That's excellent. So that if that's the case, then I'd be happy with that. If we give them some money towards their application and encourage them to apply to other areas.
Have you got a figure in mind, Willie?
Well, I would say how much. Well, I got £700. Is it £700 we've got to disperse, or 900? I have to go back to the papers again. I'm swapping backwards and forwards. Let me see.
The estimated income, Councillor, if I may, for this year is £700.
Right.
Previously, back in 2016, the Common Good Committee agreed that £157,000 of the fund be ring-fenced as that capital amount, and the total value audited as of 1st of April this year is £158,435.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if that's the case, then I would suggest we grant them the 700. But if they fail to attract other funding sources, then the money should not be handed over, I presume.
Do you agree with that, Callum, or would you think a higher figure?
No, I agree with Councillor Robertson that we should support the project, but would be reluctant to dip into the finances further, the reserves rather.
Okay, well, unless anybody else has got any comments, I think we should agree that we will give them £700 towards their project cost, but also write to them and encourage them to perhaps approach some other sources of funding that officers know about within the council, and also possibly the Kinross Shire Fund. How does that sound?
I'm happy with that.
Yep,
Happy to agree.
Agreed. There is one other point that Willie raised during our pre-live discussion, and that is really about the amount we generate on the financial market from the invested fund. Interest rates are very low, as we all know, but I just wondered if there's any possibility of reviewing where that money is placed and possibly increasing the estimated income. Can I have a comment on that from officers?
Yeah, I can respond to that one, convener. It's Donald Coyne here. The council previously had a look at the interest on investments, etc. At the moment, the balances are invested in the council's loans fund, and as you correctly say, the interest rates are peanuts at the moment, unfortunately. I mean, I think it was about 2014. We had a review of options, and at that time, it was basically thought the loans fund was the best place. But I'm happy to actually consult my treasury colleagues and see if there's other options available for us now.
Thank you. Perhaps Stuart Mackenzie may know something.
Yeah,
that'd be good. Okay, so we've agreed that, and then the final item is item 7, which is of course the financial statements for the current year and projected for up to 21, paragraphs 11, pages 11 to 20. Any comment on these statements? I mean, we basically kept the ring fencing together from what we just decided, so they will be adjusted in due course when it comes to the next meeting.
I'm happy to approve the paper.
Yeah. Okay.
Happy to approve that.
Noted.
Yeah. Thanks very much then. It just remains for me to say, despite all the difficulties, I hope everyone has as good a Christmas as they can in the circumstances, and look forward to hopefully a more normal 2021 in due course. Thank you very much, everyone.